plaintiff, Massey Reed, says the defendant is his brother. So when he told him he was getting married in Vegas, he asked him to be his best man. The defendant agreed to be there. However, he's suing because he covered the defendant's hotel room and has yet to be repaid. Defendant Sandrino Green says this is Massey's third wedding, and when he found out about it, he thought it was a joke. Sandrino insists he never agreed to pay for an expensive hotel room, and he's countersuing for airline tickets and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, well, Sandrino, this is my brother, my best friend, all that.
Good.
But there's two Sandrinos, okay? There's Sandrino, and then there's Paul. Paul is drunk Sandrino, okay?
It's what?
Drunk Sandrino. So there's a drunk Sandrino and a sober Sandrino. Sandrino, when he's sober, he's Sandrino.
Okay.
When he's drunk, he's Paul.
All right, well, that's not my problem. But people do.
Right. I object.
People do say there's Judge and then there's Greg. But it's not because I drink. So just Jekyll and Hyde.
I object.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So the reason we're here, on April 23rd, my wife and I, my wife now, we decided we were going to get married. Whenever something major happens, I call Paul, because he's my best friend. Why not call him? Paul? Right? So I call him on April 23rd, like, okay, me and Pooh, we're getting married. Where's it gonna be? It's gonna be in Arizona, because I live in Arizona now. I'm like, no, we're gonna get married in Vegas. He's like, okay.
Where does he live?
He lives here in Chicago.
Okay.
He's like, oh, okay, I'm there with bells on. Why do I expect him not to be there? He's my brother. He's always there. Mm-hmm. My first wedding, I called him the day of the wedding. He's there. You see what I mean?
Another one? Just two?
No, this is my third wedding.
Oh, man, and go broke going to your wedding.
No, my first two was here. I lived in Chicago at the time, so he was there.
Go ahead.
So he asked when the wedding gonna be. We told him July 4th, and this is in April. So I was in constant contact
April,
with him.
you tell him July 4th, okay.
Right.
What does he say?
He say, I'm there.
Okay.
What else he gonna say? I'm there, let's go.
He say I'm broke. This is the third time.
But that's not a worry, because he's fine. You get what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I call him, kept in contact with him throughout the time, you know, making sure he had his clothes, because he's my best man. Make sure he had his clothes together, make sure everything was set. I told him at the time we're getting an Airbnb. The reason for the Airbnb, because we had a lot of people coming from out of town, and I didn't want everybody to have to get hotel rooms. Cut the cost down.
You were gonna have everybody stay in one house?
Yeah, it's Airbnb.
With you and your wife?
Yeah, it's true.
You know how messy that would have been?
Not really. It wouldn't have been bad.
How many people?
It was only 16.
16?
Yeah, we had 8 rooms. It was a nice mansion. It would have been nice.
Go ahead.
We would have been away from everybody. Anyway, so around the time of, I want to say around June 23rd, they canceled my Airbnb. After I got a head count, that's when I told him, I'm like, Drino.
How much was he supposed to pay his portion?
$200 a night.
How many nights?
We were there from the 1st through the 6th.
What was he scheduled? How long were you scheduled to be there?
We were scheduled from the 1st through the 6th.
And that would have been 5 overnights for him, or 6 overnights?
5 overnights.
5, total. So that's $1,000 total.
Yes, sir.
It's $1,000 he would have owed.
Right.
See, he can't mess with you without costing thousands. All right, go ahead. It costs to be your brother.
So Airbnb ended up canceling the Airbnb 7 days before we.
Yeah, you told them 16 people. Yes, they did. Go ahead.
So I called everybody that was coming, because it was all family, you know, our kids and things like that. So trying to reach him, I don't reach him. I don't hear from him until the day that we arrive in Las Vegas. Now I'm driving to Vegas. They flew to Vegas. When they get there, I had already, you know, set up some rooms, because I wanted somebody to be able to, I knew he was going to get there before me. So I wanted him to be able to greet everybody when they got there, and, you know, make sure they had know where to go when they got there.
When did you tell him you had to change?
I tried to contact him when I got the information.
June 23rd.
June 23rd. But he never called me back. I left him messages, he never called me back.
Your very, very tight brother.
Yeah.
We love each other, we hang, we talk.
Never called me back.
And you called and you just leave a message?
I left a message.
Did you text him?
Huh?
Did you text him?
I don't want to say I texted him, no. I don't think I did text him.
Because this was important.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It was a big change because you're talking about hotel expenses, and I know that's a big difference.
Exactly.
So he needed to be notified. Go ahead.
So he never gets back in contact with me. Sandrino, when he's sober, he's Sandrino. When he's drunk, he's Paul.
All right, well, that's not my problem. But people do.
I object.
People do say there's Judge and then there's Greg. But it's not because I drink. So just Jekyll and Hyde.
I object.
Plaintiff Massey Reed is suing his brother, who says when he found out Massey was getting married for a third time, he thought it was a joke.
Let me get some background from you and your take on things.
Exactly as he said, it's my brother, best friend, love him. But this guy with this wedding thing, the first one, it was a bet, Your Honor. And he literally called me that day. The second one, he called me. Now we're here to this third one, and I'm not coming to any more of your weddings. Let's just
That's right. There's 3 strikes and you're out.
3 strikes and he's out. As he did state, he called, actually it was early in the morning, called me, said, yeah, you getting married? I hung up on him. Quit playing. I did, cause this is leading up. I hung up on him. Called me back with his wife now on pretty much Facebook. I say, whatever. Yeah, well, when is it? I'll get back to you.
You didn't do it like that, right? Okay.
I didn't, it was early in the morning, but I didn't, Okay. I say, well, I'll give it back, they'll get back to me with the date, basically.
Early in the morning?
Okay. They get back to me with the date. Now, as far as the room situation, he said an Airbnb, which was $200 per couple.
Got it. And the change was unreasonable in the price. So you needed to know.
I found out that, Your Honor, I called him at the airport, asked him for the address to the Airbnb when I was at our airport here. He said, call me when you get to Las Vegas. I called him at the airport when I got to Las Vegas. He told me, go to the Luxor. So I went to the Luxor under the assumption that maybe it was. So I stood in the line, and there was I asked for the Reed party. No. Okay, well, how about my name? No. I get out the line. I call him. He said, let me call you, and I'll call you right back. And then he's like, okay, well, just go there, and
go where?
Go back up to the desk because we had to get out of the line.
I thought you meant go there.
We were there. Airbnb. We were there, just there with nowhere to go, basically. And it's like, get out there, and he called me back like, okay, well, you can go to the desk now, and. Like I said, I don't owe him this money. Would you have
gone on the trip knowing that you had to pay the hotel fee?
No, I would not.
Why?
Not at that time. My finances.
Okay.
My finances.
And how often do you all talk?
Daily.
Typically. Every day?
Daily at the.
Is that about right?
I'd say at the most.
A lot.
He said he called you from June 23rd up through the time of the trip.
Fictitious. I found out when I got to Las Vegas about the hotel.
So the day before you got on the plane, you didn't know?
No. I didn't know until I got in the airport and I asked the cab. I asked, where is the Airbnb?
Yeah, sir, and you didn't text him. Here's your brother. You talk to him every day. Now you're saying since June 21st, you all couldn't talk to June 23rd. Oh, let me stop. Why do you think that is? That he won't call you back, the person you talk with every day?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. So unless you can give me an explanation when you said and you agree that you all talked every day and suddenly you don't know why he won't.
Well, our schedule is crazy, being honest with you.
You talk every day usually.
Yeah, I don't know.
So for these days, it was crazier than usually is?
I don't know. He just wasn't responding.
Yeah. And I don't know whether to believe you.
Yeah.
You have to prove that a little better. And the average person, a reasonable person in this day and age that has such important news to deliver to somebody they talk with every day, who for some odd reason never calling you back now, you don't know why, you say, even though we talk every day. I have no idea why he didn't. Have you asked him yet?
No.
Okay.
At the same time.
And that's why I don't believe you.
At the
You would
same
ask.
time,
No. You would ask your brother, who you talk to every day, doesn't call you back for 7 days. Did you send something by mail? Did you ask the police to check on him?
No.
Anybody? Here's a person you talk to every day.
I know he's
you
alive.
call him and he never answers you for 7 days straight, and you don't send anybody to check on him.
I know he's alive because he's on Facebook. So I know he's. I know
So
nothing's
did you
wrong
send
with
him something on Facebook saying it?
That's how I called him.
I'm technologically
That's how I called
challenged,
him from
but
Facebook.
I do know that you get through to people. Did you drop something? I do know this. Did you drop something in his DMs?
No. Here's the
Talk
thing.
to me like I'm crazy.
Here's my thing right here.
There's 1,000 ways you communicate with people now.
He never communicated with me saying he wasn't coming to the wedding. So he knew the wedding was going on. Regardless, he knew he was supposed
Not
to send
regardless. It's not regardless. It is absolutely dependent on notice. Absolutely dependent on it. You're talking about regardless. It's absolutely dependent on whether you gave him notice that there would be a change between him paying $1,000 and $1,750.
He never communicated with me saying he wasn't coming to the wedding. So he knew the wedding was going on. Regardless, he knew he was supposed
Not
to send
regardless. It's not regardless. It is absolutely dependent on notice. Absolutely dependent on it. You're talking about regardless.
Plaintiff Massey Reed is suing his brother, who says when he found out Massey was getting married for a third time, he thought it was a joke.
It sounds unreasonable for you to say you talk to him every day, but for 7 days straight, you can't reach your brother and you don't send anybody to check on him. You don't reach out on other means of communication, DM, Facebook, Instagram, text, letter in a bottle. And so my point I was making is that you increase this man's fee without notice. And you have to prove to me that you gave him notice, and you have not. That is what is required for you to win this case. Okay. And I have to either believe, if there's no evidence that gives me a clear and convincing insight, then I have to go on credibility of the witnesses and what I'm hearing in my own ears.
So yes. The thing is, he was supposed to originally be sending money, even if it was $1,000, be it $400.
Okay. When was he supposed to send?
He was supposed to send that prior to me ordering it.
You know the month or the date?
So around May, him and his girl called me and said, okay, so we gonna send them. That's when they finally actually confirmed. We gonna send the money for the Airbnb. How much the Airbnb? I said, bro, it's gonna be $200 a night. I said, when I confirm the hotel, when I confirm everything, I'm gonna contact you and let you know. We never ever talked about money no more. You see what I mean?
He never sent it?
He never sent it.
Why didn't you ask him that?
Because
you have a problem communicating with your best friend that you talk to every day.
We be like that, because like I said, it's two different Drinos. You have to figure out which Drino you're talking to. If you're talking to drunk Drino.
Both Drinos can count.
Yeah, kinda. The thing is, if you're talking to drunk Drino, he's down for whatever.
Did you fail to pay any deposit? Most people, it is reasonable that they would require a deposit to reserve a room for you somewhere where there's going to be 16 people otherwise there. He has to assign the rooms to people, 2 in this room because we have 16. Oh, it's down to 14 because I haven't gotten the money from, which name?
Sandrino.
Who pays?
Pedro.
Pedro, okay. Because Pedro hasn't given me the down payment. So I can't reserve a room for Pedro. I'm going to give these rooms out to other people because Pedro hasn't given his deposit. So you've already indicated your lack of responsibility for your accommodation by not putting a deposit down that he asked for in May. Why didn't you give him a deposit?
Never asked. This is exactly like he said. He said he was getting Airbnb. No.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
I'm talking about deposit. He says he asked for one. That sounds like what a reasonable person does, and that is what is the case in most instances when somebody is renting a house, particularly if they got 16 people, they're going to want some money to be able to depend on you. But if you're the best man and you're the person you talk to every day, you're going to trust him.
And again, Your Honor, I wasn't even the best man. I didn't even get a chance to get into
And secondly, you stayed in the room. Didn't you know how much it was going to cost, the hotel room that you stayed in?
I gave him the bill before he
Quiet.
No, he never gave me the bill. He didn't say anything.
Sir, you never gave him the bill or
He
told him
never
how
gave
much
me the
it would
bill.
be?
Sure did. So before he disappeared from Vegas, because we're all going to the pool. I'm like, okay, Drino, I'm like, I need some money from you. He like, money for what?
Did you tell him how much the hotel room would be?
No, because I was only going to have him pay the $200 a night because it was a little bit of an
Okay,
inconvenience.
so how did it change to $1,750 now?
Because he didn't pay me anything at all,
Okay.
which caused other things to happen.
All right. He depended on that $1,000 charge. That's what you said you were going to charge him. Even after getting a hotel, you were only going to charge him $1,000. Let's get to the airline tickets. How does he owe you for that?
So as a result of that, I had to start borrowing money from other people to get my kids back home because I didn't have the money in my account.
If you didn't spend your money up, you wouldn't have.
No?
You the one spent your money up.
Yeah, I had to
You can't say because I spent my money on other things and you didn't do what I asked you to do, therefore you owe me.
Well, I mean, had he gave me $500, had he gave me anything, I wouldn't have to borrow money from other people. You see what I mean?
No, I don't see what you mean at all.
The fact
you may
is,
have had to borrow the money because you shot it away on the craps table. I don't know why you had to borrow it, and we can't conclude you were broke because of him.
Well,
You can't blame him for being broke, sir. Save more money before you get married. That's one good piece of advice to you. Don't get married if you can't afford 2 airline tickets for your children. 3 airline tickets for your children. Don't get married. All right. To viewers, if you can't afford your children's ticket to the wedding, don't do it. All right, because afford means if you lose some money, you can still meet your responsibility.
Well, the thing was,
not being able to afford, meaning you get right up to the edge of your responsibilities, and any little thing that extra money, it throws you off. You couldn't afford it in the first place.
Well, that's because
What about the airline tickets, sir? Did you ever agree? Of course you didn't agree to pay for these. Emotional distress, is that the same reason, sir?
For the most part.
All right.
The reason for the Airbnb, because we had a lot of people coming from out of town, and I didn't want everybody to have to get hotel rooms. Cut the cost down.
You were gonna have everybody stay in one house.
Yeah, it's Airbnb.
With you and your wife?
It wouldn't have been bad.
How many people?
It was only 16.
16!
Yeah.
Plaintiff Massey Reed is suing his brother, who says when he found out Massey was getting married for a 3rd time, he thought it was a joke.
And your counterclaim $3,200, how does he owe you for tickets and emotional distress?
Because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't going to go. I
But you
came
did.
under the assumption of I was the best man, you know. So
What
he
happened?
said, you have to go. I wasn't the
forced
best
you?
man.
He forced you?
Yeah, basically.
And because you were the best man is why you went?
Actually, because
Did you tell him he had to be the best man?
He didn't have, he in fact wasn't because he was drunk.
Sir?
not in the whole truth.
Why weren't you the best man?
He had someone else. I was in the
Who
wedding.
was the person?
Our other brother.
Is that true?
Yeah, because
And was he still in the wedding?
yes,
Why wasn't he the best man? Like you
Because
had led him to believe he would
because
be.
he couldn't stand. He couldn't
But
stand.
so why did you have him in the wedding at all?
Because he's still my brother.
All right, so keep him as best man if he's still your brother.
No.
He couldn't stand if he in the wedding either. What's the difference? People are looking at him drunk as best man.
No.
They were looking at him drunk as a groomsman. I will grant you $1,000, which is the amount you told him it would be for the Airbnb. You could not communicate with him, you say, for 7 days. Don't believe it, so I'm going to only charge for what you told him it would be. And yes, you are going to have to pay for those airline tickets because I'm sure you would have gone. He could have forced you to be in the wedding as well. Just like he forced you to be the best man, he could force you to be in the wedding. So you allowed yourself to be forced. All right, and so when a person allows themselves to be forced and manipulated, that's on them. And with regard to your airline ticket, sir, I'm not granting you that. You shouldn't have got married if you couldn't afford your children's flights. Just because he didn't pay you back this $1,000, that shouldn't ruin your whole life and the life of your children and the wedding and all the other things
What about my
you're trying to get
emotional
emotional distress for. What?
What about my emotional distress?
You get zero. How about that? Judgment for the plaintiff. Yours is dismissed.
I'm appalled. What?
I'm very appalled.
So something's wrong with you, bro.
Oh,
something's
that's
wrong
all
with you. But it's cool. I'm gonna call you Wednesday.
Wednesday. What's today? Okay.
Today perform stereotypes and they say whatever else you might have said.
It's time for today's Judge Mathis Throwback.
And stay tuned for the special return of one of the litigants from today's throwback case.
Plaintiff Brittany Barmore says the defendant is a regular customer at the bar where she works, and she thought he was a stand-up guy. But he turned out to be a freeloading alcoholic who doesn't take care of his kids. Brittany's suing because she paid the defendant for a scooter, but she let him borrow the scooter and he never returned it. Defendant Jack Pierce says after he met Brittany, they went on a date together and even shared a couple of kisses, but it never went anywhere. Jack insists he tried to get in contact with Brittany regarding the scooter, but she never responded, and therefore he feels he doesn't owe.
Start with you.
I met Mr. Pierce through my job. He's a customer. He comes in and plays Texas Hold'em. I thought he was a stand-up guy at first. Obviously he's not. He's an alcoholic. He come in, he racks a good tab up, but he's always been able to pay his bill.
How often does he come?
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do free Texas Hold'em at the club bar.
So that's twice a week. Why do you think he's an alcoholic?
Because of how much he drinks while he's there, and he's still sober, or not sober, but appears to be sober when he leaves.
Yeah, well, that's not alcoholic, ma'am. That's a lush.
Okay, a lush.
Call it what it is. He's a lush.
He's a lush.
In your opinion, right?
Yes, he
lush?
comes off as a stand-up guy.
You say he's not. Go ahead.
He comes off like he's a stand-up guy, and that he's one of those people who believes in taking care of their kids, and that he believes in working and so forth and so forth. And come to find out, he's just a bum. He doesn't work. He freeloads off everybody else.
How do you figure that?
Because he doesn't work. You gotta have a job.
How does he pay all these bills?
He doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't take care of his kids. Child support's chasing him like I am.
First time I heard of that, Your Honor.
Plaintiff Brittany Barmore is suing the defendant, who claims he and Brittany went on a date and even shared a few kisses. But she insists that is a lie.
You give me some background.
Well, Your Honor, I met Brittany at her place of employment, yes, up there playing cards a couple times a week. Thought we formed a good friendship. We exchanged phone numbers, went out on a date, shared a couple kisses. We ended up, I went up there on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that was just because.
Like I said, he's a
Get
drunk.
back to these kisses. What happened?
Yeah. Well, Your Honor, I mean, we.
You couldn't close the deal?
I don't know. I mean, I tried and.
Well, ask. Just ask. See what happened. Just ask her now. What happened?
He's a drunk.
Did you smell alcohol on it?
I served him the alcohol.
when you tooted up to kiss him also.
I didn't toot up to kiss him. I mean, like I said, he's a drunk.
Did you kiss the man
I
or
didn't
not?
ever go out on a date with
Did
a
you
man.
ever kiss him?
No. Never kissed the man. Didn't go out on a date with a man. You know,
Honor,
he comes to my work in frequents.
We went to the boat together.
We did go to the boat together. That wasn't a date. A date would mean that you come and pick me up and take me out. That doesn't mean that
you went
ride
to the
my-
boat. Did you go to the boat?
I drove to the boat. I drove to the boat. And
There's a certain connotation when women go to a man's boat.
He drove coattails with me. I left my place of employment to go to the boat.
If you went to that boat, ma'am, you don't go to a man's boat.
It was a boat to gamble, casino.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, he's a drunk who gambles.
All right. So you're talking about his personal boat.
Yeah, well, no,
Get you
hell
out
no, he
there-
ain't got no boat.
get
If
you
he
out
did,
there
I
in
would be
the middle.
suing him $500 for a scooter.
Well, he has a scooter, you say.
Yes,
huh?
if he
What
had
are
a
you
boat,
suing
I'd have
him
just
about?
flattened it.
Tell me about this lawsuit with the scooter.
I purchased a scooter from him for my son's birthday. It was going to be a gift for my son. I asked him, is the scooter stolen? Because if it is, I can't have no part of it because it's going to be a gift. I can't allow my son to go out on a gift and get pulled over and get in some kind of trouble. He said no, he purchased it from his neighbor. Everything was on the up and up. I gave him $500 cash for it. He brought the scooter over to the house, parked it, bam. The next day, he asked me if he could get some things from the scooter, and he would be gone about 15, 20 minutes to empty it out. He would be right back. I allowed him to do that. He was gone. 2-3 hours passed. I start texting him, where are you, where are you? He doesn't text me back. Finally, at about 11 o'clock that night, he texts me back and says, everything's all good, I'm okay, I'll be there shortly. Then next thing you know, he texts me back 20 minutes later, I've been pulled over by the police, they're repossessing the scooter, they're taking the scooter, it was stolen, and I
Let's see
had the
what you
text
have.
messages there.
And why
He'll
did he
pay
say-
me back each payday, which, at that moment, I should have, if I thought about it, he don't have a job. What payday? I mean,
And he had-
and then so I waited a week because supposedly he was going to work for a full week in Florida. I waited until after he got back, and I texted him and I said, hey, what about some money? He texted me back, who is this? For a guy that's going to pay me back. For a guy that's going to pay me back and
Doesn't
he went out on
recognize
these
the
dates, you
number
think you know the
anymore.
number. I've not changed my number in 15 years.
Okay. Sir, you give me your...
Well, Your Honor, first off, what she has said is halfway right and halfway wrong. The night that we went to boat together, we had stayed together all night at her house.
How could we be at the boat and at my house?
We got up next morning, went out running around.
We got up the next morning. Wait a second. If we was at the
She
boat, when
Ma'am,
we
let
go to
him
sleep?
finish.
She went and paid bills. I rode around with her. She went back to her house. She was getting ready to go to work. I had asked her if I could use the scooter to run around. She said sure. So I got the scooter, left, she went to work. And yes, it did get stolen from me. But I didn't go out and take things out of it. I didn't do anything like that.
He was a third-party victim of a crime, ma'am. He's like the victim as well as
Well,
you. However, did you agree to repay her? She
Yes, I
says
did.
You
I
agreed
did
to
say
pay.
that, Your Honor.
All
I did
right.
agree to pay her back. I had gone to Florida, was supposed to be down there for 10 days. We ended up only being down there about 4.
So why are you changing now? Why are we here today if you agreed to pay her?
Well, Your Honor, I just feel like I don't owe it to her because I had made ample opportunities to try to get a hold of her. I've sent word through somebody that plays cards with us. She never responded to
You got a hold of her today. Now what?
No, I didn't get a hold of her that day. The
I
person.
know, but you have her today. So what's your excuse today?
I just feel like I don't owe her because she didn't try to get in contact with me. She
All right, everybody's in contact with each other today. Now what?
I just feel like, with her not getting in touch with me or anything with text messages that I sent to her.
You told her you didn't know who she was when she texted you.
I did tell her that. That is true, Your Honor. I did.
Well, then she tried to get in contact
got in
with you,
contact
and
with
you
me a
tried to
couple
play
times.
crazy. What?
2 weeks.
2 or 3 times.
Plaintiff Brittany Barmore is suing the defendant, who claims he and Brittany went on a date and even shared a few kisses. But she insists that is a lie.
Where's the scooter?
The scooter was restolen.
Restolen.
Fourth party victim.
Right, a fourth party victim. What were those circumstances? How did you get it back first?
I actually got the scooter back because a friend of mine had told me where it was. It was in my neighborhood. I had the actual title of it. I took the title and the other set of keys, matched up the VIN number, and I got it back.
Okay.
Put it back on my property. I tried to send a text to her, but I never heard from her.
He didn't know my number.
I don't know how it was restolen. Restolen.
It was stolen because it was off of my property. That they had stolen it.
That's not what he
Where
told
had
me
you put
happened.
it?
It was in my yard, in my backyard.
He didn't tell me that anything other than that the police took it and that the person who did own the scooter showed up on the scene and was able to prove it.
Did you tell
was
the
their scooter.
police repossessed it or not?
No, I did not tell her that the police, I said I got stopped on it. But I did not tell her that the police were taking it or it was being repoed by the police.
Well, then why
right.
even tell me the police stopped you?
Because they did.
Have you been looking for it a second time like you found it the first time?
No, I have not.
All right, well, you keep looking. In the meantime, give her $500. $500 for judgment. Have a good day.
So after this, we can try to be friends again. I do apologize.
Hell no.
And now a special throwback update as the plaintiff is back in Judge Mathis's courtroom.
Plaintiff Brittany Barmore says the defendant was her ride or die, and Brittany could always depend on her. However, Brittany claims after the defendant damaged her car, she refused to pay for the damages and then ghosted her, so she's suing. Defendant Amanda Webster admits that she and Brittany were best friends and says she misses their friendship, but she insists Brittany is the one who ghosted her after this incident.
Start with you.
Okay. I've been on your show before. I was on in 2017. Of course, then I was suing a stranger that was just a patron at my bar over a scooter. But this time it's a friend and it's much different because it's personal. She was my ride or die. I mean, I could always depend on her. And then she used my car and my car died and she was no longer my ride or die. She just kind of ghosted me and died off. It's been really hard because we've talked with me contacting her, and she said that, we make arrangements. I even offered to let her boyfriend fix it, for cheaper. I've tried to work many scenarios out and I get ghosted. And I can't really go, Your Honor.
I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
I can't really go to her and confront her with everything. Like, they went on vacations twice this year. He's bought a new truck. They've got new animal. They're at the casino. But I don't know how to say it without being angry about it, because I'm only angry because I'm hurt, because she was my ride or die, and I just can't believe that financial, money has gotten.
How far you all go back?
And that.
How far do you go back?
10 years.
10 years?
Over 10 years.
No problems before this?
Never. Ride or die.
But you never put yourself in a position for her to cause you any financial
y'all know what each other's income is.
Let me hear from you, ma'am.
Okay, I will agree with mostly everything that Brittany said. She was my road dog. We were BFFs, and I still to this day, I miss her like crazy. But I would say that I was the one who tried to reach out to her about this whole car situation and ordeal that's going on. And I thought that she kind of ghosted me. We were roommates for a while. And on said day that the incident happened, I did drive her car. I would say, I guess, technically without permission, but we were roommates. So I never really had to ask every time I used her car, nor did she, when she used my vehicle. And on
is that true, ma'am? Hold on. Is that true?
I've let her use my vehicle before.
Without asking? Without asking?
No, she's never, because she had her own.
And have you used her have you used her vehicle without asking?
Not without asking, no.
Defendant Amanda Webster is being sued by her former friend, who claims after Amanda damaged her car, she ghosted her.
She denied both of those things. So go ahead. She denied both, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, like I said, I mean, sometimes, like if I was parked in back or she was parked in back.
You said that I got you, that you could take him and she could take yours. You said that's happened in the past a lot. Take it without asking. I got you.
So I did take her vehicle, and I was just quickly making a quick run to the store. And unfortunately, this incident happened where I was sideswiped while I was turning at a light. And when it happened, of course, I'm in shock and couldn't believe what was going on. So I called Brittany, and of course, first instinct, she was furious, which I totally understand. But surprise to her, she didn't even know her car was gone from the driveway.
Right. So you took it without her permission. Go ahead. Of course she wouldn't.
So I told her that I would, I did feel responsible for the most part that, in fixing her vehicle. But like I said, we were roommates, and that happened in September, late September. As far as October went, we didn't really talk after this incident. There was definitely some animosity, I'd say more so.
She didn't have to talk. All she needed to do was go to the bank and get the money and cash the money that you sent her for the damage that you caused. Nothing to talk about.
She knows that. If I had the money like that, for sure she would be the first I would divvy out a check to.
Okay.
But I just don't have it like that. I work at a donut shop, and I would say I'm quite poor.
Okay, but, so her defense says, ma'am, I'm sorry, I heard you, ma'am. I heard you. Her defense is that she's poor.
Well, so was I.
You're poorer than you were before her, right?
This was the last thing I wanted to do because I really want to salvage the friendship more than anything, but I'm so hurt by the whole concept.
And she has been laughing most of the case.
I am in shock, kind of, that she says I ghosted her. I took it as, okay, again, we were roommates. And,
ma'am, that's enough. Nobody ghosts you when you owe them money. They want their money. You've been contacting her and she wouldn't respond, and you owe her $3,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. She admits to damaging your car. She admits to agreeing to repay you. Her only defense today is she's poor, and that's not a legal defense, so I have to grant your judgment. Have a good day, ladies.
Thank you. I'm sorry that it had to come to this, that I really, really miss our friendship. And that I just wish
I do too.
This wasn't how I wanted things to go.
I miss her greatly myself. She was my homie. I miss her, and I hope this can be resolved now, and we could continue to go to where we once were.